Washington officially announced the deployment of dozens of Stryker armored combat vehicles to the Ukrainian border. This move is not simply a routine military reinforcement, but a clear signal to Moscow that NATO, particularly the United States, will not remain silent in the face of escalating military aggression. This decision also demonstrates that Ukraine, despite not being a NATO member, is a focal point in the strategic defense map of the North Atlantic. Since Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula in 2014 and began its military support for separatist groups in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, tensions in Eastern Europe have been rising. However, the full-scale invasion that began on February 24, 2022, marked a major turning point in Europe's security architecture. Russia targeted not only eastern Ukraine but also the capital, Kyiv, and several other key industrial centers. NATO member states viewed this action as a direct threat to regional stability and the territorial integrity of countries surrounding Russia. The United States was the primary actor in responding to this aggression. Through various channels, Washington has channeled more than $40 billion in military aid to Ukraine, including Javelin anti-tank weapons, HIMARS artillery systems, reconnaissance drones, NASAMS air defense systems, and high-precision munitions. Now, by deploying Stryker combat vehicles to the Ukrainian border, primarily through Poland, Romania, and Slovakia, the United States is taking its military escalation to a new level. The deployment of Strykers to the Ukrainian border is not an isolated move. It is part of NATO's larger strategy, Enhanced Forward Presence, EFP, which aims to strengthen collective defense along the alliance's front lines. The United States views maintaining the balance of power in Central and Eastern Europe as vital to preventing further Russian military expansion. Strategically, Stryker vehicles offer high operational flexibility. They are maneuverable and capable of quickly and safely delivering protected infantry forces to conflict zones. This is particularly important in areas such as the Ukraine-Poland border or Transcarpathia, where the terrain is characterized by hills, forests, and complex road networks. Furthermore, the presence of Strykers on NATO ally territory serves as a psychological and military deterrent to Russian forces. The Pentagon officially stated that this deployment is part of a troop rotation to ensure readiness and interoperability among NATO members. However, many analysts believe that this deployment also serves as a show of force, a demonstration of military strength in response to Russia's increasingly aggressive rhetoric and military actions on NATO's borders. This American move has drawn mixed responses from the international community. Baltic states such as Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia welcomed the deployment. They have long requested an increased NATO troop presence on their territory, given their geographic proximity to Russia and historical experiences during the Soviet era. Poland also stated that the Stryker deployment strengthens its national defense and is a strong signal of America's commitment to European security. Conversely, Russia has called this deployment an open provocation. The Kremlin has stated that Washington's actions exacerbate tensions and could lead to direct confrontation. Rhetoric used by Russian officials, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, has portrayed the situation as part of NATO's militarization of Europe, which they say endangers global stability. China, while not directly involved, has also voiced concern over the ongoing military escalation. Beijing, which maintains close ties with Moscow, believes that a diplomatic solution should be the primary route, not the deployment of advanced combat vehicles and weapon systems to an already sensitive region. Coordination with NATO forces. The Stryker vehicles deployed to the Ukrainian border are not operating independently. They are part of a joint unit comprising troops from various NATO countries. In this joint operation, the Strykers are combined with artillery units from Germany, mechanized forces from the UK, and logistical support elements from countries such as Canada, France, and the Netherlands. Joint military exercises such as Defender Europe and Sabre Guardian have been used to integrate Stryker units into multinational operations. In this exercise, troops are trained to coordinate in urban combat, rapid attacks, securing logistics routes, and defending against air and artillery attacks. The deployment of Stryker combat vehicles to the Ukrainian border is a clear reflection of a new era in global geopolitics. The world is currently witnessing a resurgence of major power conflicts, characterized not only by battlefield combat, but also by force diplomacy and the symbolic deployment of military forces at sensitive points.